to help like promote home and decor blogging through BVN. But I'll have a chat with Trouble about that. I know we started a little bit later, but I'm aware that the Lindens are on at 2 and they're going to want to get settled. But I think we've definitely got some time for some audience questions. If there's anybody that wants to ask anything, then feel free to holler. Do you find your typing animation super helpful, Manu? Because it means I know you're typing something. I mean, I do also know about the fact that you've got the word typing above your head, because I have that on. Well, that's a good question, Shell. Trixie, do you want to take that?
Sure. Shells, let's see. How do you suggest someone that is interested in getting involved in blogging go about it? What types of tips? Oh, would you give someone who's just starting out? Good question. I would say just practice. Just practice. For me personally, I tried a bunch of different styles where I kind of found one that fit for me. Even if you don't have sponsors, keep making those scenes and keep posting those photos and getting your name out there. I would suggest being involved on Flickr or Facebook and just seeing what other people are doing, look for tips and ideas, and don't be afraid to mess around with camera angles, wind lights. You know, the sky's the limit. There's really nothing that you can't do. So just go in there with a positive attitude and make it your own, I think would be my suggestion. June, would you have anything to add on to that?
I think that if you want to get started, yeah, use what you have at first, because blogging can be very expensive too. See what you have in your inventory and close everything out. Try to see if you can put together a little scene, maybe with your Amy, and definitely Flickr would probably get you out there a little bit first. Facebook, and even collabs with other friends. And no, old stuff's great. I like when people blog old stuff because then, you know, the old item, they need attention too. Like, people come to my store all the time and buy my old items, and it's like, wow, you know, that's nice. Like, you don't need just events to sell things, and it brings traffic to your main store. So I love
and Mesh doesn't date like Prim stuff used to.
Exactly.
You know, the stuff that was made 2-3 years ago, Mesh, you know, could have been made today. The older items are great to use. There was a question from Manu then. Well, what is your position about decoration and captures, and if you consider backdrops as decor, and how much utility you give them? Was that aimed at June as a creator, Manu? For both. Okay, there you go. June?
Wait, I have to read that again. Where was his? Okay.
I think it's generally, what do you think about decor gachas, and are backdrops decor?
Backdrops can be decor if it's taking up a whole photo in a scene. I feel like it could be. they could be useful to actually make a nice scene, because then you don't have to try to decorate a whole house. And gotchas, I consider that, those are great to blog, because you can play a gotcha for pretty cheap, and then have, fill a room with it.
I know you weren't asking me, Manu, but I love gachas, decor gachas, because the items usually, each one of them is unique.
Yes.
And you've got not less chance of getting dupes, but if there's 20 items and they're all different, I'll probably play that more. I'll play decor gachas, and I will not play fashion gachas. I am not playing a gacha where I've got to try and get a pink pair of knickers with a pink top and a pink pair of trousers and whatever, when there's black and blue and yellow and green and whatever else included as well. Oh, hell no.
And then you could just go to a marketplace to get the color you want, so, yeah. Right? Black is rare.
Every time.
Yeah, black is always so
rare. Trixie, what was your opinion on Manu's question? I jumped in then, sorry.
No, you're fine. I love using gotchas for decor. For me, it's a lot easier to use them in scenes, I guess, than in my own house, just because they tend to be a little bit higher land impact. In general, again, I'm not talking specifics, but I love them. I don't see any reason not to. And a lot of the creators will switch them out if you ask, so there's always that. And for backdrops, I'm one of those people. I'm sorry, I am not a backdrop person. I'm sorry, I feel like I'm going to get stoned here, but I do not consider that avant-garde. I agree it can be useful, and I've seen it used in specifically actually in outside spaces to create like garden walls, kind of backdrops for other things to go on, and I love it to use as part of the decor, but not necessarily for scenes. That's my 2 cents anyway.
I like that.
So sorry.
Because I'm lazy, I think. I really rather just, I don't know. Because, my sister, Blair, she does you have to see the scene she makes out of just a wall of, I'm sorry, I'm not giving out your secrets, but she rocks some amazing, amazing scenes with just 2 textures, like a floor texture and a wall texture, and let me tell you, it's better than a house. It is amazing what she can do with just 2 prims of a wall and a floor, so you could do probably just the same with the backdrop.
I like backdrops that are 3D backdrops of buildings, or so people like Azuka that did an alleyway or something that you can then add other stuff into.
Yes, I do like those. Taikota's perfect ones too. They're fabulous with the storefronts.
Yeah.
And I like to actually build a scene, maybe using two or 3 of them and some other sort of filler buildings, things like that.
I think there's just too many now, of those neon backdrops. I'd like to see more of, storefront backdrops, and there was a really nice gotcha from Rhone when they did those, the Paris scene, and those were really, really gorgeous. I would like to see more of those backdrops. When he's typing, I feel like.
Yeah, that's one thing I'd say is I like, this might be controversial, but I like it when gacha stores that do a gacha have a policy of not trading for copy items. I think that defeats the whole object of gacha and having a rare. If I then visit a sim that has like 10 of the rare item rezzed out because they've traded it for a copy, I kind of, and I've played that machine, I kind of feel a bit defrauded over that.
That's good to know, because I always was on the fence with, like, I'm new and I don't have that many gotchas already, and I always wondered, like, what people feel on that. And a couple of people asked me to trade in my gotchas, and I've done it because I always feel like I want to give the customer the best service as I possibly can, but I see your point there, like, that does make a good, then it's not really rare anymore, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
There's 10 of them on a sim. It's
Yeah.
not a rare.
I didn't even
it's
think
not
about that.
special.
You're right.
It took away my special. On the gacha resellers, you take a risk when you buy from a gacha reseller or marketplace, obviously, that the item is in the box, and working and what it's supposed to be. I do buy from, it's actually one of my hobbies, when I get a chance to go to some of the gacha markets, because I find items that I would have never seen because I never went to the event or something.
Right.
And I like to see how some of the gacha markets, actually the stores have laid stuff out, decorated and used all these random items to make a scene. I really like that. And then I can see what I'm buying and I literally pick it up there and then. But overall, I prefer to buy from the creator and play the machine. And of course, the other thing is, if you buy from a reseller, you've lost any support that you can get from the creator. If you've not bought the item and they got no proof that you've bought the item, they're not going to give you any support if something happens or it breaks. It's especially important for scripted items. And also, you got to watch these. A little while ago, there was Commoner did in Arcade, I think it was, and it was one of the prizes was 3 bottles of wine. Right? But they were. It came as like you raised it out and it was 3 bottles of wine. And this person had unlinked the bottles of wine and was selling each one on Marketplace for the 50 or 75 lindens.
Wow.
So they paid 50 lindens, got 3 bottles of wine, and then sold them for 150. I'm not sure whether to admire them or think they're a bit dodgy.
That happened to me once. The Lost Junction has a set with strawberries on a dish, and then they give the extra strawberry. I bought it on Marketplace. I only got the strawberry in the box.
Oh my goodness.
I paid for a strawberry.
Dear.
That's a bummer.
Where's the rest of the stuff?
I am aware that we're probably coming up to our hour now, and they are going to be wanting to get ready for the Lindens and restart this sim before the people come in for the Lindens. So I just want to say that I'm back on Thursday here at the same time, and I'm going to be talking to a very interesting lady. Her name is Peet and she runs a group in Second Life where she does presentations and lectures on relationships within Second Life and empowering yourself within relationships in Second Life. So she's basically a relationship counselor. But she's fascinating. She's a relationship counselor in real life, as well as being a pastor. And she she's got so much insight on how to make relationships, and I'm using the word relationships, but it's the same within friendships or even in working relationships as well. So it's quite a broad subject, but she is amazing, a fascinating woman. And I'm going to be talking to her at 12 o'clock on Thursday, if you'd like to come back for that. I want to say huge thank you to June and Trixie. I've really enjoyed this. I know we had some technical problems, but we've gotten around those. Hope you guys have all enjoyed it. I've enjoyed it. It's felt like just sitting here chatting with friends. And hopefully you guys have felt that as well. So thank you all for coming, and thank you again to June and Trixie for giving up their time to spend with us today.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Fun. I loved it. This was a blast. Yeah. Thanks for organizing.
Thank you, everyone, for coming.
Have a great Tuesday.
Oh, right, and breathe.
Later.
Hopefully I'll be able to get